Hey everyone, Rich Munroe here with B&B Investing Group. Thanks for jumping on this week with us. B&B Investing Group is helping investors navigate short-term rentals in terms of the several different models. So if you either want to manage properties, if you want to do the rental arbitrage model, or if you want to do acquisitions and buy properties to do short-term rentals, we help you guys kind of navigate and explore those three different options. As usual, we have somebody that's experienced that we do these weekly training interviews with to kind of explore and give you guys a sense of how folks got started and kind of hear their story. We got a big response today for my guest, Mike Hicks. He specializes in container homes. And so we're going to do a deep dive on that model and kind of talk about his business. We are also within B&B Investing Group. We are looking for folks that are wanting to change their business and pivot and perhaps get aggressive with short-term rentals. We work with clients to help them build a scalable business. So if that's you and you kind of want to get more information about what we do with the B&B Investing Program, feel free to reach out to me directly. Do me a favor, if you could put in the comments okay or yes if you can hear us. We'd also like to know kind of what part of the country you guys are dialing in from today as well. And we're going to save some time towards the end for some questions. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few here. So, Mike, thanks so much for jumping on with us this week. I wanted to basically start off with kind of a brief background in terms of your background, how you got started with short-term rentals, and then we can kind of dive in from there.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for a while. I started building at 19, so that was around year 2000, building new construction, and I bought my first rental at 19 as well. We did that, and long-term, short-term flips, that kind of thing. And I guess it was probably 2016, somebody came through the local RIA talking about short-term rentals and Airbnb. So I took one of my duplexes and converted one unit to short-term rentals and to a short-term rental, and we enjoyed that so much we converted the other side, and then added a couple of single-family homes to the mix, and did that for a few years. And I guess 2019, I got this wild hair and said, I'm going to build a shipping container house in my office parking lot. So I ordered the container, and took us about 28 days to build it, start to finish. And then it sat in the parking lot for about a year and a half before I finally, I was getting the pressure from codes enforcement. It's like, hey, this thing's got to go. It served its purpose, which was to build it and show the local officials that, hey, these can be a viable option.
So that was kind of the guinea pig.
It was, and that was that's what we used. We moved that to the property, and built around it, built a porch on it, and put a roof over it, and that was the first unique stay that we added to our portfolio.
All right, is that the first one that's that we're going to show today? That's on your website?
It is.
Oh, let's take a look at it then while we're talking about it. So let's see here. So let's take a look at some of the pictures.
That's a 20-foot high cube, and it was a new one-trip container. The one trips you purchase, they load it in overseas. They send it over here. It's unloaded with no return back to China. So it's then sold as that's about as new as you can get container. And it's hard to get the high cube now in the 20-foot model, but every now and then you'll run across one.
All right. So you still have to order these from China today as well?
Well, we ordered it through a broker, and we've ordered most of ours through brokers, and they source them throughout the country, whichever is closest to you. So, Atlanta is the closest hub that we can pull out of at the most reasonable price. We can find them cheaper in Savannah, but by the time you add shipping to Chattanooga, it washes the difference.
All right. And so this is literally the one that you had in the parking lot when you first got started with it.
Yeah, that's it.
And so I'm assuming you basically have to kind of have the infrastructure in place for electrical and water and the foundation before you can place it, or kind of what's involved with the next to get it put over there.
So that's kind of where we started. It was sitting in that parking lot, and codes enforcement was getting on me, and I'm old school. I like to drive for dollars, so I got out and okay, where do I want to be? I want to be on water, or I want to have a view. So I get out and I start driving the rivers, driving the creeks, the lakes, and driving the mountains. And we found this property. It had been on the market for a while, and we actually went under contract in February of 20, just before COVID, and went on a cruise into February. It was supposed to close March 2nd. And, I get back and the world's falling apart. And I called the seller. I was like, look, I need about 10 more days to think about this, because things aren't what they were when I left, and what we, so
Right.
we decided to go ahead with it and bite the bullet. After we calmed down a little bit, we were ready to go ahead. But yeah, when you're buying land, there's just a lot of things that you need to make sure are in place. Does the county that you're building in, do they allow a container home, or do they allow a tiny home, or is there a square footage minimum restriction on the lot, or does the county have a square footage minimum restriction? There's just a lot of things that that play into searching for a piece of land, and the other piece of that is can I put multiple structures on one lot? The next county over from this one, they don't allow, you can put one structure on the lot. The structure has to be at least 500 square feet, and they don't allow container homes. So, just a few miles away, this couldn't have happened. So, I tell people to kind of pick a triangle of 3 large cities. And mine, we kind of say, okay, Atlanta, Birmingham, and Chattanooga. And that's my ABC points. That's the triangle that I'm willing to stay in, or stay close to build out a short-term rental, a unique stay. So then, we want to be near state parks. We want to be near activities. We want to be near, things for people to do, but we still want to be far enough out that they can have privacy and enjoy their stay.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about this lot. So obviously you got that first one on the left in place, and then you added the 2 additional structures as well.
Well, when we found the lot, and after we cleared it, I told my wife, I said, look, I have to hire a crane to set these. I have to, hire an excavator with a rock hammer to break the rock to get the septic tanks in, that kind of thing. I said, I might as well, dig 2 foundations and dig 2 septic tanks, and just help with the, economies of scale. It costs the same to have that equipment up there setting one as it does 2. So
That
we
makes
went ahead and
sense.
built the first and second one, the first shot, and they did really well. So we just went ahead and added the third one. That's as many as we can get on that property. There's
How many acres is that?
It's 2.5 acres, but brow property up here, the way they do it, you end up with a lot of land off the side of the bluff that's useless. So it's probably 1.25 acres up top.
Now that view is spectacular.
It really is. It's a good view. Great sunsets.
And so what did that go for?
Back then that lot was 80. Now it would be double that.
All right. And it was 80. And then what was the cost to build let's talk about the first one. What was the cost to build the container home and get it set up?
So the cost to build that first container home in the parking lot was $28,000, and that was furnished, fabbed, and everything. And that's a lot for 160 square feet. It's not. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, it's cheap to build a container home, and it's cheaper to build it that way." It's not. You still have to frame the inside walls. You still have to wire it, plumb it, put a kitchen and a bathroom in it. The cost to fab the containers is one of the biggest expenses, and then the cost to insulate. The only way I will do it is with closed cell spray foam, because you can't. The open cell or bad insulation will sweat. So, the closed cell spray foam is expensive. And then everybody has a minimum. They're not going to come out and spray that. They have to do the hard work of setting up and taking down regardless. So they're going to charge you more to do just as much to do, that 160 square foot container as they would a 400 or 500 square foot building.
Got it. And then, so that's 28,000 all in, including getting it set up and furnished and everything.
No, so that was the container in the raw, built out, exterior painted, and but no roof or anything. That was windows, doors, flooring, furniture, and everything when we did it. Now, you add in the septic, the foundation, the water, getting utilities to it, building the roof, the decks, the fire pits, the walkways. We were in about $80,000 per unit on those builds.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
No, it's great.
Yeah, and then what's your average nightly rate on each of these?
Those range from 165 to 350. Now, the 350 doesn't happen a lot, but it's we use price labs to set up our pricing, and somebody books further out, they're going to pay a little more. So anywhere between there, we probably average around $220 a night. Okay,
very cool. And then let's see, this next one is also on the same property here.
It is. That's the second one, the blue one in the middle.
Okay.
We took that one. That is two 20-foot standard height containers, and I took and cut the ceiling out of that front container and created that loft over the back deck. And that's cantilevered 6.5 feet on each end to give that offset front and back porch.
Very cool. Very cool. And so was the cost a little bit more to kind of do that additional custom work?
Well, when you have the right crews and a good sawzall and a grinder, it's not that custom. So, that one was a little bit more, but not terribly more.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. And so do you charge a little bit higher nightly rate on this one because it's a little bit bigger, or no?
Yeah, that one's starts about $20 a night higher than the other one. That one will sleep 4. That's the only container home that we have that sleeps 4. But we encourage two. We also don't allow children or pets at these just because of the proximity to the edge and the brow and the bluff there.
Got it. And so this is the bedroom that's up in the loft. The one we're looking at here?
That's the downstairs bedroom.
The downstairs bedroom. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a queen bed on the main level, then one up in the loft.
Yeah, it's a little like a fold out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right there, yeah.
Got it. All right. Is there anything that you have to kind of account for differently as far as, cleaning, maintenance, upkeep? Is there anything different that you have to do with container homes compared to regular homes?
No, if you build them right and insulate on the front end, insulate well on the front end, we haven't had any issue. Everybody talks about moisture, and, we've not had any issues with moisture. We put larger vent fans in the bathroom, and they are vented to the outside. Everything else is, I joke when I talk to people about building one out, but once you get your framing in, it's like remodeling a bathroom. It's not, once you get past the fab and the framing, it's not a lot. There's not much different when you're dealing with a singular container. When you're dealing with multiple containers, you are going to deal with some structural issues, especially if you start stacking. And that's something that, I don't need to do that. I don't have to do it. So I'm not going to. I don't feel like the return is there for the extra work and the engineering that goes with it.
Yeah, I actually stayed in a Airbnb in Jacksonville that was, I think it was something like 12 units, and they were, I think, 3 stories high, of all container homes stacked on top of each other, and as kind of one large unit. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I stayed at one in Lynchburg, Virginia, that was 2-story, and it was well done. But yeah, I don't. If I'm having to deal with architects and engineers, you're adding 30 grand to your build cost. So if I can stay away from that, I am.
Got it. Now this is the other one on the end, and this is the third one.
Yeah. We did a rooftop deck on that one, and that's a 40-footer. It was a high cube, and we cut that down to 32 feet to make it fit on the lot. We wanted a little bit bigger, and we also put a laundry room on the back end where the container doors are, so the turnover team can take care of the laundry and keep supplies in there as well.
Okay, very cool. And so how do you heat and cool these? Are they split units or central?
They're mini splits. Yeah.
Mini splits?
Yeah, and they do
is it
really well.
And is it one mini split for the whole container, or how does that work?
Yep. Now the two singular containers are one per the double. The double is there's too many splits in it, and we end up with the tree houses. There's two in those as well. It just gets so hot in the upper lofts that it needs that additional unit to cool it.
Got it. Very cool. All right, so you've got these three, and these are in kind of northwest Georgia, in the mountains, kind of close to the border of Tennessee.
Yeah, we're about 25 minutes south of Chattanooga on Lookout Mountain.
Okay.
And that's the thing. A lot of these properties, it's a lot of searching to find these properties, and that's the hardest part, is finding the land that's that allows for the homes to be built. There's so many. I see a lot of people saying, "Well, the land's unrestricted." Well, yeah, there's no restrictions from the seller, but there's restrictions from the county, or vice versa. And a lot of these lots on the brow, they're beautiful lots, but if you dig into the deed and go back and look at the restrictions, they restrict the square footage and the number of homes and the type of buildings that can be built. So whoever, and that might be 30, 40 years old. So you just got to be careful when you're jumping on a piece of property thinking you have no restrictions. That can come back to bite you. Make sure you do your due diligence and check the county and the deed.
All right. What county are these in? I think somebody in the comments asked about what county it's in.
Yeah, this is Dade County, Georgia.
Dade County, Georgia. Okay. All right. Are there any questions about the container homes? Because we're going to talk about tree houses as well. But before we move into that, wanted to see if anyone had any specific questions regarding the container homes, and if there's anything that we can tackle. While we're waiting to see if anyone's going to put any questions there. So what got you into the treehouse aspect and pivoting away from the container home?
Well, like I said, I've been building for over 20 years, and it's you kind of get things get monotonous, and the same thing with rehabs. I don't know how many homes we rehab, but everything's gray, everything's beige, everything's white. It's the same granite tops, the same tile, the same flooring. You're just rinsing and repeating, and I just felt like I wasn't allowing myself to be creative, and I've always doodled and drawn my own home plans and scratch things here and there. And so, I look at what others are doing, and I try to make it my own. So if I see it, the tree house that we built, the first one, the sassafras, I bought the plans from the Treehouse Master, Pete Nelson's website. But then I added a bathroom on, and I moved the kitchen and changed a few walls and just made it my own, made the deck a lot bigger. And so it allows me to be creative, especially with the finishes on the inside. With the tree houses, we've used a lot of reclaimed material that we've taken out of old buildings that we've torn down. So the floors, the joists, the lathing strips, anything that we can reuse, we're trying to repurpose and put into those rentals. So, it's midlife crisis, finding something to reinvigorate myself and push in a different direction. I'm just, I'm tired. I've pushed hard for the last 20 years, and I'm ready to just have fun. So if I build a container home a year, I'm happy with that.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. And so I'll pull up the Treehouse here in just a bit. There are a couple questions that are coming in. So how do you find the land?
Yeah, like I said, I'm old school. I figure out where I want to be. All right, so say it like Blue Ridge area. I take a look and say, okay, we like Blue Ridge, we like LJ, we like Dahlonega, and then I'll say, okay, we'll write down the counties, and then we'll start making phone calls to those counties, and we'll say, okay, do you allow tiny homes? Do you allow container homes? Do you allow multiple properties on or multiple units on one property? We just start going down that list and doing our due diligence. So that area, we weren't allowed to do anything under 700 square feet in LJ. So that scratched LJ for me. So we moved to Fannin County, and we can build, anything over 400. So that was a little more beneficial for me. So once we figure out that, then we say, okay, where's the water? Where's the views? I want to get out and ride and put my eyes on the properties and get a physical interaction with that property. Pete Nelson calls it his interview with the trees, and I call it. So I started jokingly just saying that's my interview with the land. And I'll sit out here like those containers. Once we cleared it, I come out there. I go out and I'll paint it on the ground and I'll twist it and and then I'll pull a string and then I'll pull the other foundation and just play with it. And I might do that 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 more different times until I feel comfortable with the way they're situated. And that really, really plays in with the tree houses, especially because they're one-offs and they're on larger pieces of property by themselves, and you can really set the mood by how they lay in there.
Very cool. Very cool. So you touched on the kind of dealing with the county. Is there any kind of permitting that's needed similar to when you're doing, remodeling or new construction to build these?
It'd be similar. Yeah. Just similar permits, your new construction permits.
Okay. So it's not much different than that process essentially.
No. And every county is different. So it's hard to say that, you go here and do this, but we can go some places we go and we can pull a permit in about an hour. Some places we're building one on Tybee Island or trying to build one on Tybee Island, and they have a permit for the driveway. So, it's there everywhere you turn, there's another permit. And, I wasn't prepared for that. I asked every question that I knew and felt comfortable moving forward with this lot. And I've been trying to get permitted for a year and have a folder, an inch thick full of papers that I'm going back and forth with. So, down there, we're on the water and we're dealing with Department of Natural Resources. We're dealing with Chatham County and subsets of Chatham County include their public works, their road department. Every department has to do their little approval. But DNR is the hardest one. So we're trying to work through DNR now. And, we're looking at having to put a bridge over a section of marsh to get the driveway in. So that's just some of the things you can run into. But typically permitting is fairly easy, especially if you get out into the more rural areas. Even LJ, Gilmer County, Fannin County, Lumpkin, they're all fairly easy to permit in.
Got it. So this next question is pretty lengthy, and we covered some of this. So I'm just going to read it out, and then you can kind of give us any insight on it. Using this process with the land already prepared, what is the timeline for each property? Pre-construction phase, design, planning, site preparation, clearing and grading foundation, excavation, footings, foundation walls. Like I said, it's pretty detailed here, but I know you covered some of this. Go ahead.
It all depends on materials and labor. We're in a tough time right now, and it's hard to find good contractors, good subs. the treehouse we built, it was about 4.5 months. The last one we built, and that's from the day we broke ground till we just finished it this week. So if that gives you an idea, I mean, pre-construction, there's not a lot there for me. I've been doing it a long time. I don't need to sit down with 18 people to tell me what needs to happen. Here's my plan, here's my drawing, and I start building.
Nice.
But depending on where you are, you're going to have some of that if you're dealing with architects and engineers, and I just choose to stay out of those areas.
Okay. How much land do you typically look for?
It doesn't matter. It's more about what the land is on than it is what I'm, the amount of acreage. So the treehouse is on 18 acres. And it's by itself. The new treehouse is on about 3 acres, but there's a neighbor on both sides, but you can't see them. The lot in Blue Ridge, so that's the one on 18 acres.
So this is the one. This where's this one located?
That's on Lookout Mountain in Walker County.
Okay.
Still, it's about 25 minutes from Chattanooga.
All right. And so this one took about how long to build?
That one, it was, we started that one March of 21, and we finished it up early December of 21. So it took a little longer, but it sat for 3 months waiting on windows.
Yeah. So, we had that on our lake house rehab as well with the window delay last year. Yeah.
So what I did with this last tree house is I got on Facebook Marketplace, and I drove through Atlanta. I drove just right over the line into South Carolina, and I got all the windows I needed for about a third of the price, and had them there when the framers were there.
Nice.
So it cut a lot of the cost, and it cut a lot of the downtime.
Okay, and so the treehouse, just so we're crystal clear on this, you're also using a container as a starting point, or no?
No, there's no container.
No container on this one.
It's all stick built.
All stick built. Okay.
And the other, what I was going to say is the thing with tiny homes is, and this is what I enjoy about it, is you can pick up lots that nobody else wants in a desirable area. So the lot in Blue Ridge was on the water. It was a 50-foot wide lot, 60-foot wide lot, and it would only the Sullivan house is only allowed for a 1-bedroom. Well, that's perfect for me. I just need a small space to build we built an A-frame tree house there, and we just needed a little bit of space, and we were able to put our septic in, and but nobody else wanted that lot because they wanted to build a big home. So it worked for us. The lot on Tybee Island is a 40-foot wide lot. It was originally set out to be the subdivision's boat ramp. It just never happened. So it's on the marsh, and nobody else wanted it, so we were able to pick it up a little cheaper. And those were still, I went cheaper, but those were still $200,000 lots. So the Tybee lot was, the Blue Ridge lot was $50,000. So it's, that's a little more affordable and a little easier to start a tiny home. The Tybee, we're going to put 2 bedrooms in it, and it's going to be a container home. But we wanted to, that's more of the location than it is the unit.
So I can't tell from the picture. So I'm going to walk the pathway to the stairs that goes up the middle of the treehouse.
No, so that's that right there is that's the outdoor shower. So you walk back up that pathway to get to the hot tub, and then you go up another pathway to get to the stairs.
Got it. Okay. And what's your average? Okay, so there are the stairs there, and that's how you get in on the side. What's the average nightly rate on this one?
The base rate is $4, and it's up to $550. So it's somewhere in between there.
And how many people does it sleep?
It sleeps 2.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's again. So we're looking for like I say, we want to add the unique stay and the unique property together. And that's, I think, why we achieve the rates on these. And that's why the other reason we started doing the tree houses, they're bringing a little more nightly rate. They're also, and doing them by themselves and not right up next to somebody where, so we could put 3 container homes on that brow and do it the same as we did the other, but we're going to get the 220, 230 a night versus the 450, 500 a night. Got
it. And then this is the one in Blue Ridge?
No, this is another one in Rising Fawn, Dade County. So this is the one we just finished. We had some guests come to the shipping containers, and the stairs are just really steep just to get down to the containers. There are just a lot of stairs. So we had a guest come that was in a wheelchair, and we didn't know it, and they knew that it was not accessible, but they asked a neighboring tenant to carry them down the hill. And then when I found out about that, I told my wife, I said, we need to build an accessible unit. So
nice.
We built this one. It's accessible for a wheelchair. We've got the bathrooms roll in, and then that's the outdoor shower there.
And what's the square footage on this one?
This one's a little over 500.
Okay.
Including the loft. Yeah.
And you got a built-in hot tub on the deck?
Yeah, we recessed the hot tub, and we just try to do the little thing. We put a projector screen in this one, comes down in front of the window. Just little things like that. The pizza ovens, the hot tubs, the fire pits. That view is unreal right there. It looks down into Alabama and North Georgia. It also has a pottery shop on it. So we like to find properties with history too. And the owner of this was a world-renowned potter. Had work in the Smithsonian, taught all over the world. It's just a really cool piece of property.
Very nice. And then let's look at the Blue Ridge one here. Is that
Apex?
Apex, okay. And guys, if you're interested in getting access to Mike's website, it's wanderchat.com.
Wander
yeah, but if you want to just send me a direct message and I'll send you the link for it. These are all very unique properties, and to Mike's point, it's all about the guest experience. And so, people will definitely pay a premium to get these unique experiences. And so this is kind of an A-frame.
Yeah. So that one's 14 by 24, including the porch. And then it has a small loft upstairs, but it's looking right over the water. And that was the big thing for us. So it's a small lot, and it was a hard build, hard to access, hard to get materials down there to it. So it was just a matter of, it sat on the market for a while, and that's what I look for. I look for the unique properties that are sitting on the market for a while. I think they were asking 80 for this lot. We offered them 40, and they countered at 60. We went back at 50. So
nice.
It's probably a little more than I wanted to pay for it. But again, finding the property in Blue Ridge on the water, it's 8 minutes to town. There's plenty to do around there.
And what was the lot size, Mike?
It was less than it was about 3/4 of an acre. But again, if you're looking down there, you can see how steep it is. I think I saw something the other day that hot tubs increase your occupancy by 14%. And I don't know, if that's a true number, but I do feel like we do get people that ask us constantly, does this property have a hot tub? And the containers don't, and so we have to know, and they go elsewhere. So
is there not room on on your 3 container home plot to put a couple of hot tubs, or no?
Well, we've considered it, and we're trying to figure out a way to do it to where we can make the hot tubs private, but it's without building something that's atrocious. So we're working through it, but I don't know. There's a neighboring tiny home complex a few doors down, and they have one that's shared, and I don't particularly like that, but that's just me.
All right, very cool. So what's next on the horizon? You mentioned Tybee Island. Is that another project in the pipeline?
It is. We've got that one, and then we've got another lot in Rising Fawn next to the pottery shop, next to the artistry house. It's we're going to do a Hobbit house there, and it's on the brow as well. It has a phenomenal sunset, and then the Tybee Island, we're going to do a couple container homes, and then we started. We poured our footings Tuesday for a 9-container pizza restaurant here in North Georgia. So I'm excited about that.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see, a question. Could you put a hot tub under the containers?
No, they all have block foundations under them. So I don't know. One of them has a laundry, the other one has storage, and the third one is storage as well. It would be a creepy room for a hot tub. Now you might put one under the deck of the number 1 container, but that'd be the only place that I could think of. I'm wanting to put them beside them to where they can walk out of the deck and go to the hot tub. But I'm trying to figure out how to build a blind that will make them private at the same time, but still allow for them to see the view. So nice. It's not top priority right now. I'm trying to get these other builds finished up, and then we're going to come back. Like the first container, we have plans to cut the front out of it and put a roll up, black glass garage door in that will sit in front of the bed that they can hit the button and the door will open up. It's little things like that we want to come back and change, but it wasn't built with that view in mind like the second and the third one were.
Got it. Very cool. So we actually have one of the folks that are watching that's visited your container home before.
I can't see who the users are.
Yeah. So Ann Neal McCarty said Michael is one of the most creative people I know. Love his properties. We've visited several.
Yeah, I love Ann. She's great.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And so again, for those of you guys that want to travel and visit the Northwest Georgia mountains, send me a DM and I'll send you the link for Mike to book the properties. I think my wife and I are going to actually go up there and take a break and check out one of the properties as well. So you guys have done an awesome job. Are you guys self-managing as well?
We are. And I say we. My wife does the managing. I do the building. I stay in my lane.
No, it's always good to divide and conquer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She enjoys the hospitality piece, and we have teams in place, and she still does the guest interaction. And we were talking about that today. I told her my office manager recently passed away. 8 years. She's been with me 8 years. She passed away about 3 weeks ago, and I'm like completely frazzled. But I told her, I said, there's so many things that I want to ask help for, but I'm afraid and don't trust in handing over these tasks. And she said, well, why do you think I'm still handling the guest interaction? I said, well, I get it. I can't argue that. So, there will become a day that we give it up. But right now she's enjoying the interaction and enjoying the feedback and enjoying, helping the guests through their stay and giving them ideas to do locally. And so, I think we're at 7. We're getting ready to add number 8 in Blue Ridge, and then the Tybee and the other lot up here will make 10. And I think that's enough for me. Very cool. And then you're going to kick back and enjoy it. I don't know about enjoy it, or kick back, but I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to do, I want to, begin exchanging up and getting rid of my lower end rentals and exchange 3 or 4 of those into one better rental and deal with quality over quantity. So. Well, and I think you always have that itch to build. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start building something new. Oh, I will. I'll keep building. I just, it might be one a year, but I'm going to do something. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. I think we got a lot of people that have definitely been interested. We have another quick question. What happened to the warehouse project?
We're still working on it. We put in an art studio, like I guess a collaborative, to where artists can come and rent a space, more like a co-op. So we have a common room where they can display their art, and then rent individual rooms by the month and create their art. The container co-working space, that's probably not going to happen. I'm thinking about selling that building and upgrading into a bigger project, but we'll see.
All right, very cool. So no, I appreciate the time today, Mike. Thank you so much. This has been really productive. Thanks everybody for tuning in with B&B Investing Group. And like I mentioned earlier, if you've got an interest in how B&B Investing Group can help you grow a scalable short-term rental business, feel free to reach out to me on a direct message. If you are ready to kind of grow and shift gears and start to do short-term rentals more aggressively. So Mike, thanks again so much for jumping on, man. Appreciate it. And we'll be in touch soon. Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good. Y'all take care.